So what if I gave you a chance to go all the way back to your rookie draft in 2022 and redo it from top to bottom?
Okay.
Well, we're going to redraft the 2022 rookie
Yep.
class a year later, and we're going to do 2 rounds guaranteed. We might do a quick fire through rounds 3 and 4,
Yeah.
but Badaki and I are going to go back and forth with the knowledge that we now know. How would we draft the 2022 class right now if we were doing a rookie Superflex draft? Hey, do us a favor, guys. Drop a like to support the channel. Subscribe if you like Dynasty content, and I want you to comment down below. Who is a player in the 2022 rookie class that you still believe in, that you think is going to have a breakout here in year 2? All right, I'm at the 101. It's the same 101 that it was the year before. I don't know if you have a different one, but for me, I'm still taking Brees over anyone else in this class. I know the injury is there.
Right.
Yeah, I'll take him with that injury. Still only 22 years old. And from what we've heard, we're not doctors, but from what we've heard, it was a clean break, and he should make a full recovery. So, Brees Hall, before that injury, you saw RB1. That's what you saw in Dynasty. So, I'm going to still believe in that, and I'm going to take him here at the 1-1.
Yeah, completely agree. I guess let's not stay too much on Brees, but yeah, 100%. He's still my 101 in this draft. And now I am on the clock, and let's keep the first 2 fast as well. Let's go with his teammate, my wide receiver 1 in this class, still my wide receiver 1 here, and that's Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
No doubt about it. I mean, a phenomenal rookie year for Garrett Wilson, with multiple quarterbacks. Zach Wilson's coming in, Joe Flacco, he kind of took off in the second half. I think he finished like top 20, top 25 wide receiver. So I think he's going to do great. He's going to take it to the next level coming in. Maybe with Aaron Rodgers.
Who knows? I mean, if they just get a consistent quarterback, it's really going to help Garrett Wilson, no doubt. I had troubles with my 1-2 just because I was doing this exercise as if, I'm really doing a rookie draft. Would I do Garrett Wilson or Ken Walker? Because I feel good about the other receivers that I could get. I still love Wilson. I think he is the wide receiver 1. He's my first wide receiver off the board. But if I don't go Ken Walker at the 1-2, there's not another running back I want to take. I at least guarantee want to take in the first round. Do you know what I mean? That's where my struggle was.
I hear you.
Running back scarcity. So my 1-2 was actually Ken Walker. And again, I was really struggling between Ken Walker and Chris Olave with what direction to go in. So I think you could really say 1-2A, 1-2B for me, Walker, Wilson. Similar tier for me. I always say best player available. So this is one of those rare scenarios where what's your biggest need on your team, running back or wide receiver, because they're both in the same tier as far as if we were doing a rookie draft, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Ken Walker, I mean, phenomenal year, I think, as well. I think finished RB18 this year. I mean, no one expected these Seahawks to kind of play and be these type of players that they were, but I love Ken Walker. He was definitely my 104. So I'm okay taking him at the 103, 104 area. So that makes sense. All right, I am on the clock here, and kind of the guy that you alluded to, and that is Chris Olave. So I'll take Chris Olave here at the 104. Like you said, my second wide receiver off the board. It's either Ken Walker, Chris Olave. What is your team needs depending on it? Also, Chris Olave, another phenomenal rookie year. Top 25 wide receiver. He finished. He was the only wide receiver in that wide receiver room over there with the Saints. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year as well.
Yeah, you guys know I love Chris Olave. I've loved him since last year. I actually had Olave over Wilson. That was, I don't think that they are in different tiers for me, even in a startup. But obviously, right now, Wilson is the one in the class. I'm a big fan of Olave, so I like this pick here at the 1-4. He is also my 1-4. Apparently, by the way, this is just a little random. Apparently, they changed the Rookie Player of the Year award. They changed the way it was awarded.
Oh, really?
With voting, like the voting system changed. So if they had traditionally gone to the same voting, Ken Walker apparently would have won if it was the voting system of last year.
Time. Right. Okay.
So they changed it. I think Garrett Wilson is the Rookie of the Year, but I just thought that would be interesting to say.
I think so.
All right, at the 1-5, a player that was drafted higher than this for most people. We still like him. And I think he is still to be unlocked. but quarterback play is a little bit of an issue. Offensive identity is the larger issue. I think even if you change quarterback, that head coach is very persistent on running the ball more than anyone in the NFL.
Right.
And I know London had a huge target share, but this is where I would take Drake London.
Drizzy.
You can make a case for Drake London as the wide receiver 1 in this class if you want to. You really can. I am still going to take those 2 boys from Ohio State. No, neither of us are Ohio State fans, even though someone commented on that on one of our videos last week. We just recognize greatness with Wilson and Olave, and London is definitely on his way, but still more to prove.
Yeah, no. Like London, hopefully they either switch a quarterback or they invest, but it looks like Desmond is going to be the guy, so hopefully there's some sort of chemistry there from the jump.
And I want the coach to change, because that coach feels
That's
like
what
what he's doing is right, because he what is it, Arthur Smith, is that right?
Yeah, Arthur
They found
Smith.
success. No one expected them to win as many games as they did this year, even though they didn't win many. But
it just doesn't.
That's what concerns me more.
It doesn't feel right, does it? No. I just don't like the fit with Arthur Smith, Drake London, all these young, talented, rookies. Yeah. But I mean, he's drafting well. Him and the GM are drafting well.
True.
All right, my next guy, a guy that I was taking significantly higher in Dynasty rookie startups or Dynasty rookie drafts. And I'm going to go in the quarterback room here. I'm going Kenny Pickett. I think this feels really comfortable. I know there's probably another wide receiver out there that a lot of people would have taken over him. But let's remember that Kenny didn't play every single game, right? He was definitely the backup in the first part of the season. Then he kind of comes in, takes over the role, and he played decent. Had some injuries with concussions and stuff. But I like where this team is going. I like Deontay Johnson. I like, George Pickens, Pat the Dragon, and Najee in the back. And, I mean, he's with Mike Tomlin. So I'm pretty confident that the second year, the next step, that he should have a somewhat consistent and success coming in. So I feel really confident taking Kenny right here, in my opinion.
Okay, this is definitely the first part of the draft we see drastically different.
Mm-hmm.
I still have 5 players I would draft over Kenny Pickett available on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So Kenny Pickett, the first I'm thinking about Kenny Pickett is back into the first, around the 111.
Okay,
so that is probably the first part where we see different. I just think you're hitting on these wide receivers that are still on the board. And obviously, maybe some of that comes with not being able to see them fully unleashed just yet.
Yeah.
But for me, I would take Pickett a little bit later. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying this is where we see differently.
Yeah,
I understand Superflex League, part of a franchise that has a long history of success at the position.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand why you would do this. I just want to go elsewhere with these wide receivers. I think you just hit on these wide receivers in this first round, and then I still think I'm taking Pickett back end. Again, just a place where we see different. I'm going to take Jameson Williams here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, if I was in a Dynasty startup, well, we're not in a Dynasty startup, but if I was, would I go Williams over Burks? Would I go Williams over Pickett, Watson, Dotson? Yes, I think I am still going Jameson Williams over those players. One of my favorite wide receivers in last year's class, who I think has yet to be unleashed. Don't worry about him not playing over 25% of the snaps just yet, guys. He was a first-round wide receiver who the team traded up to acquire.
Yeah.
He's going to play more than 25% of the snaps. I saw this ridiculous. Again, we say it almost every video we make. You're a better Dynasty player if you're off Twitter. I saw this tweet where someone was like, we have to ask some serious questions why Jameson Williams didn't play more than 25%. I'm like, do you want to include any context there as to why he didn't play much? ACL? I don't know. But I love Jameson Williams. I think he's yet to be unleashed. You can see just the explosiveness in his game every time he touches the ball. And when he's starting to play 70, 80, 90% of the snaps, this could be a dangerous wide receiver. I compared him a lot to Jerry Jeudy and Deshaun Jackson. Those are my 2 comps for him. If you combine those 2 players, I'm excited about Jameson Williams. I think he's yet to be unlocked. And I want to trade the 107 and the 108 in 2023 drafts. I want to trade that for Jameson Williams. That's how much I believe in him.
Right.
I've been sending those trades out. So I'll take him here at the 1-7, someone who I think you could even consider at the 1-5. So I'll take him there.
That's fair. Yeah, love Jameson Williams. Completely agree with all that motion. So yeah, love the pick. All right, 1-8 here. This is where it kind of gets It's still exciting. Still a lot of wide receivers, but it kind of says, okay, who has the highest upside? Who do you believe in more? And that's where I was kind of finding myself with in this area. If I go based off my rankings, I can see that I have one person higher. If I go based off of feeling and based off how this person finished, this person is higher, right? So I'm gonna go with my feelings here because I do want to talk about the other player when he does come back, but it is Christian Watson here.
Okay.
So I like Christian Watson here at the 1A. I mean, he had a phenomenal year. Struggled with injuries, kind of have kind of a league winner in the second half of the season for some of these people.
No doubt.
Christian Watson
No doubt.
definitely helped you, win your league, get into the playoffs, whatever.
Literally
the case
helped
may be.
me win our home league.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So I like what's happening here, whether that's with Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay or with Jordan Love. As we always say, we are Jordan Love believers. Still believe in Christian Watson to kind of take that next step going into his second year. So I like him right here. The 1-8.
Yeah, I like Christian Watson. Watson's actually he ended up being my 108 where he is.
Mm-hmm.
But keep in mind, I did not have Kenny Pickett in this top 8.
For sure.
So I am still going one other wide receiver right ahead of him, but it's very close. Pick your poison. I personally don't think that we have seen this player unlocked in the way that Christian Watson was unlocked. If you swap their teams, I have no doubt in my mind that he would be able to put up similar production, different player, but similar production. I think he still has everything in his locker and his toolbox to be an alpha wide receiver 1 in the NFL. Just like Watson dealt with a lot of injuries, but also dealt with really poor quarterback play. And hopefully that quarterback carousel is going to be figured out. I'm going to bet on the player.
That's crazy to say that with Aaron Rodgers,
Well, no, I was saying that for Treylon Burks, who I'm going to take here. I was saying Treylon Burks dealt with poor quarterback play.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were still on Christian Watson.
I'm saying the opposite, that if Burks had an Aaron Rodgers to start his career, it could have looked a little bit different for him. I still believe in Treylon Burks, a player. I still see a little bit of shades of Debo. I think he absolutely can play outside. He can play in the slot. You can move him all over the field. You can put him in the backfield if you want. This is a dominant player, and when he's been on the field, he has looked like a dominant player. My guy absolutely sunned.
Yeah.
Who was it? 23 from the Green Bay Packers.
Jair
Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely sunned one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL.
Like pushed him down or something like that.
Yeah, he was like, you're too small. I'm a big fan of his game. I think getting him at the 1-9, this actually feels like a steal. Just like Jameson Williams, this is another player. If I have the 108, the 109 in this year's 23 class, I want to ship it for Treylon Burks. So Treylon Burks is my 107. I'll take him here at the 109.
Okay. All right. That leads me to my next guy.
This should be easy.
It should be easy. I'm going to go with. Ooh, I do have him. See, this is the thing. I have him going back and forth in my rankings. This was the area where, like, okay, I like this guy. I like this guy a little bit more. Should I pick him? Based off my rankings that I've created for this draft, this new one, I'm taking Jahan Dotson.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll go Jahan Dotson here, a guy that we both love. I mean, I had the privilege to see him play when I went to New York. So the Giants play. You
just saw something on field.
I went there, went to go recruit to see how he's looking. I mean, he was phenomenal, right? I mean, he said what's up to me. Not really. But look, Jahan Dotson, a guy that we both love, that's going to take a next step coming into next year. A great. I would say I would put him in the elite. At least I hope that he's going to get into the elite wide receiver 2 category, right? Kind of like where Devonta Smith is right now and how he took a massive step, right? So I hope and I predict that he can get to that next level coming into this year. So Jahan Dotson here with Terry. Yeah. I know Sam Howell's going to be the quarterback. Maybe that's a little bit of a struggle, but I mean, he played decently. He got some in the last game against Dallas. So
showed some signs.
Yeah, it was good.
I like this. Between Dotson and I will just make my pick and then we'll talk about them. George Pickens. When I was saying it's easy, I meant you can't go wrong here at the 110. If it's Jahan Dotson, if it's George Pickens, I don't think you can go wrong.
Yeah.
I have said this for a while. You take the first round wide receiver. You take the wide receiver drafted in the first round who has shown signs. I love Pickens. I'm probably slightly going to go Dotson there. And that was something that I had to reevaluate in my in my Dynasty overall rankings. Yeah. I am slightly going to go Dotson over Pickens. But Pickens has shown every sign as well to be a dominant receiver in the NFL. Now, everyone's qualm with George Pickens is honestly they just hate him and they can't get outside of this box of just hating a player that they were wrong on.
Right.
And 2, they say he can't get open. That's not true. Go look at reception perception, which they do great work. He can get open. He's a good route runner. But more importantly, the thing that they put on him is target share. Like, you know what? You're right. It is crazy that George Pickens, who coming into the year, everyone said he wouldn't get any targets behind Claypool, Deontay, and Pat Freiermuth. You guys are so right. It's crazy that he wasn't able to get the same target share as Garrett Wilson, right? You're crazy. How could he not get the same target share as Olave?
Right.
Right? As London. That's, you guys are so right. Like, as if context doesn't matter whatsoever. Who were they playing with? Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, I think Pickens is an ultra talent. I love him. I've been on the Pickens train, maybe the leader of the Pickens train all last year. So I'll take him here at the 111. I will say on Jahan Dotson, one of those players who did not play a full season, but a lot of the production came from touchdowns. But his profile, he can be one of those Devonta Smith type players. His 100%. Hands are fantastic. Some of the best hands in the class. Very reliable. Is not going to drop many balls. Great route runner. That's a combination for success for years to come. So I like those 2 players. I don't think you can go wrong. And this is where I personally feel, Badaki, like there's a huge drop off. Like I said, my Kenny Pickett is at 111. That's where I would have him. Mm-hmm. Behind these wide receivers, you can make the case between Pickett and Pickens for me. I don't care between those 2, but this is where I feel like there's a tier drop off.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this is, I guess, just to touch on some of these wide receivers really fast. It was so hard to pick from the 1-7 to the 1-11 because you love all these guys, right? Try to rank these guys and these guys that have upside. You know, who's going to be the one higher, one lower. But yeah, love all these guys. It's kind of what
we said last year. We were like, hey, just grab one. Yeah, they're going to be great. Grab one of these wide receivers. They are going to be great.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, 112, there's a teardrop. I did struggle at this turn and going into the second round, just really trying to understand what direction I want to go. And I'm going to go running back here. Maybe we see something. Maybe we see this differently or not, but I'm going.
I don't think so.
I'm going Dameon Pierce.
Yeah.
At the 112 here, just makes sense. I mean, another guy that finished really. I mean, we weren't expecting this in the coming in, right? I always said I like Dameon Pierce. I think he was going to be kind of like a Jamal Williams role, right? But he actually got the workload. He lands in the perfect opportunity with the Texans. He finishes as a top 27 running back, and he missed the last 5 games or 4 games of the season. He could have easily finished within the top 20. In my opinion, he was on pace to do that. So I like him here at the 112 going at the turn.
Yeah. Dameon Pierce was this roller coaster for me because in the evaluation process, I didn't really see someone who could be an RB1 in the NFL. I saw a complimentary running back.
Yeah.
Now, the volume was there. I'm not sure he goes anywhere else in the NFL and he gets that kind of volume. That's just my personal opinion.
Right.
So I went through this roller coaster where everyone's like, oh my God, trade every 23 first you have for Dameon Pierce. And I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Because people had him ranked as like a top 10 running back in Dynasty. Do you remember that? And I was guys.
I didn't even have him that high. I mean, I had him high, but I didn't have him.
Sure, but you remember the community was
100%. They were saying he was going to be this guy. Maybe.
I was like, guys, sell him. Now we're in a place where I think this makes sense for him to be here. It makes sense. Yeah. But more so, I think it speaks to how weak the second round was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I agree.
The second round in 23 is so much more intriguing. I'm going to go running back here as well. And honestly, it doesn't feel great, but I'm going to go Rachaad White. I mean, I'm looking at the board and I'm thinking, what else do I really do here? There's a huge teardrop from the 111 and the rest of this class as a whole. It gets much weaker. Not to say that these players aren't good, but I just don't see like game-changing players in the second round.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So. I completely agree. I just don't know what to do. And that's why I said coming to this turn, this whole second round is so difficult and you can go so many ways. I mean, you can go to, and you can look at people, someone like a Sky Moore. I think a lot of people are going to say, well, Sky Moore's not off the board or this person's not off the board. That's difficult to see and understand with the context that we have now. But
yeah, you can't take him this early.
Yeah, I still can't take him this early. I have a couple people I have in mind.
Okay.
I'm struggling. I actually have three people. I have 1, 2, 3.
There's a couple running backs that you love on the board.
I do have a couple running backs, and I think I might go that running back.
Okay.
I'm gonna go James Cook here.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It once again a good landing spot. Second half of the season, you kind of saw him getting his opportunity, and you kind of saw how they wanted to utilize him, but couldn't really. They're just still not committed to the run game as what we were hoping them to be with James Cook. But good guy, good upside, good team. Anything can happen coming into next year as well with James Cook.
Yeah, James Cook is difficult to wrap your head around. Maybe year 2, he's fully unleashed, but this time last year, it was my opinion that he was just a very, very good complimentary back, like one of those really top end complimentary backs in the NFL, not a true workhorse. We'll see what Buffalo does at the RB position. No one knows. Devin Singletary's a free agent, so we'll find out. I got a little spicy at my 2-2.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I got a little spicy here. I switched up because I'm thinking to myself, Superflex League, right?
Mm-hmm.
I truly don't think any of, and I would put James Cook in here. Honestly, you can make the case for Rashad White and Dameon Pierce here. I don't think any of these players are going to absolutely change the trajectory of my Dynasty League. I'm not so certain that I could probably start them maybe as my RB2 as a flex, but their jobs could be taken away like that in free agency and then in the NFL draft. But we got a quarterback on the board who showed a lot of success in a fantastic offense and put up really good fantasy numbers. He won people championships just coming off an injury. I have no idea what's going to happen. But with how weak this second round is, I would be more than willing at the 2-2. You could even say maybe the 112 onwards to take a shot on someone who could serve as a really good upside quarterback 2 on my team. If he retains the job, we don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to grab Brock Purdy here at the 2-3. Again, I think you consider him as high as the 112. Obviously, I did not do that. He is my 2-2, but again, there's just no one I'm looking at who's still on the board who I'm like, I want to take a shot on them over a potential starting quarterback in a very good offense. It's a weak second round, but I'll take a shot on Brock here. I don't know if it's too early. I don't care. This is what I would do.
No, it makes sense. And that was one of my 3 guys that I was contemplating. James, Purdy, and then somebody else, and probably who the person I am going to take. But yeah, I like the thought process. If he does get the job, you got him at the 2-3. Right, wins the job. You got him at the 2-3, and then you have a good quarterback QB2, right?
And if he isn't, he's a backup. Okay, there's not a player on the board that I feel like I really missed out on a home run.
Exactly. So, okay. I wonder if people are gonna like this, but I might go tight end here. And I don't know if it's too early or not, but once again, where do you go here? You go with like some running backs? Do you go the wide receiver? I think you can kind of get maybe some of these guys later, but I like the landing spot. One, I like the thought process of where this player can go. I'm gonna do Trey McBride here. He was a tight end 1 coming out of this year. Yes, and I was back and forth with probably the other tight end that's in this class. And I was like, I like that landing spot too. I like what's happening in that area with the head coach. But I think Trey McBride, there's no other weapons around there. I know Kyle is not going to be there for the first half of the season, but they only got Hollywood. They got Rondell. D-Hop could potentially be moving. The running back room is kind of slipping a little bit. Maybe Trey takes this next step. I mean, we saw what Zach Ertz was doing. Can he truly fill into that role? And I do believe he can. The 2-4 here, I mean, this is kind of the area he was going last time. So I feel comfortable in this area.
Yeah, I actually have another tight end ahead of Trey McBride if we were to draft today. And this is maybe it's just 1 per round, but this is maybe like where we see differently as well. In the first round with Pickett, in the second round, I think I love McBride. I've brought him as a buy low. You know that. I mean, I'm a big McBride guy, but I'm personally not considering him till about the 210 to the 212.
Okay.
There's other players that I want ahead of him. And I think the tight end position, I'm not saying we play in non-tight end premium league, so maybe it's different in a tight end premium.
Yeah.
But I think you and I could agree, like, it's pretty easy to go get a tight end. Like, you can in the trade market, it's not hard to go get a starting tight end.
Mm.
So that's where I'm like, it's harder to get a starting running back, and some of these guys are still on the board. I'm gonna grab Tyler Algier here.
Okay.
I'll grab
sense.
Tyler Algier. Between him and another running back, which I'm pretty confident you'll take next. We'll see. It was really close for me as far as who was the next running back off the board. Algier, I just think athletically, I like him better than the other running back available. I think vertically, and I would just say like not north south, but east west as far as if I'm not asking you to just go north south, can you still work with what you got? And I think Algier does a little bit more in that area. So I think there could be long-term success. But again, all these running backs, I think, could have their job taken away. So maybe McBride should be considered.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's difficult. And this is where I was really hard for me to kind of rank these running backs. Yeah. Because there are 3 running backs. I have like a little running back run here. Algier and these 2 other running backs that I am potentially willing to take. But which one is less, in my opinion, the running back that is less ideal to get a running back, another running back in that room, but has a lesser upside compared to the other running back I am thinking.
Sure. Just make a pick then.
I'm thinking of Brian Robinson here. Yeah. It's, we love the story, and we're going to have a video coming out about him a little bit later. Maybe that video is out already, but I don't want to go too much in depth about it. But yes, Brian Robinson, I don't think his running back room is going to change him. Gibson's there. Ron Rivera really believes in him. So I like this running back room here with Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, and I'm not necessarily seeing much of a change coming into Washington.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Between Algier and Robinson, I think you could go any way you want to there. Yeah. I don't think that there's a wrong move.
There's still one more running back.
You could say Brian, more like higher draft capital.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that makes sense. Okay, this is where again, I don't have McBride here, so at my 2-6 is where I would take a tight end for the first time. And this is where I would take a tight end. My tight end one would be Greg Dulcich. Again, he would be my 2-6. I would take Greg over Trey McBride with what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And maybe that's me not believing in my evaluation process enough to see it fully flesh itself out. But Dulcich looks like the real deal, man. And when you look at this Denver offense, it is my belief, just from using my eyeballs, that Cortland Sutton is not the same player. Jerry Jeudy still looks like a fantastic player. But when you look at this offense, okay, it's Jeudy and then it's Dulcich as far as who's your number 1 and number 2 moving into 2023. Has proven to be a very good receiving threat. Not only is he good over the middle, but he's great down the field as well, which is very exciting to me. So this is where I would take my first tight end. I would do Dulcich. But again, I could be overlooking my evaluation of these guys last year.
Yeah, and that's where I was kind of fighting. I love what we saw with Greg Dulcich this year, but I think Trey McBride, overall is going to have a little bit more of an opportunity. It could be the safety blanket for whoever's going to be that backup there for the Cardinals, and hopefully, we've seen Kyler Murray kind of target the tight end with Zach Ertz when his top targets weren't there. So.
Sure. The only thing I would say there, though, is, okay, so you lose D-Hop, right? You still have Hollywood, who's probably going to sign long-term.
Mm-hmm.
Rondale, he is that over-the-middle short yardage eater that scares me off a little bit more from Trey McBride from a contextual standpoint, from offense looking at it from an outsider's view.
For sure.
I don't think the Broncos have anyone like that. And that's just where... Just projecting this year's value, that's where I would say. No, and also, your quarterback situation's figured out. But you're right, it's close. It's close between the two. By the way, this is where I feel like there's another teardrop.
Okay.
I don't know. It's rough in the second round.
Yeah, our tier is a little bit different. But no, I get what you're saying. This is where I kind of really, really struggle. I felt really confident from the 2-1 to the 2-7 of like my understanding of who I feel. But now you can go with either really high upside about your understanding of what this season looks like, but also it's like, okay, do you kind of take your shot now here? Because you're right, there is a teardrop, but like now do you go quarterback with the thought process? Do you go running back again? Do you go wide receiver? And I think here I am going to go wide receiver. I think is my next best available guy. And it may not sound sexy, but I'm doing Sky Moore here.
Okay. Yeah.
The 2.8, literally a whole round later than what he was going last year, right? He was going at the 1.8, 1.9, 1.10 area. Once again, the situation's fantastic, but what we saw this year was not the best. I mean, he did get a Super Bowl touchdown, which was great, right? I mean, you kind of saw him getting a little bit in the mix
Put
there.
some respect on his name. Super Bowl champion Sky Moore.
Honestly, Super Bowl champion Sky Moore. So, look, do they get rid of Juju? Does Sky Moore take a big step coming into this year? Right, they have Kadarius Toney there as well. So, that the 2.8 here, Sky Moore, once again, with Patrick Mahomes, 2-time Super Bowl champion. That's okay. I mean, I'll take the shot here.
Yeah. I wanted to put some respect on his name. I had him at the 210. So I'm on board with allowing Sky Moore to develop. I'm on board with waiting and allowing the talent to develop. The difficult part is what you mentioned. Tony, Juju, he said he wants to come back. You know, it's just hard to see him
also hard
becoming
to not
a dominant part of that offense with so many weapons. So you talked about, and I want to put some respect on Sky, so I don't hate this at all.
Yeah.
I think you and I would both be on the approach of hold Sky Moore if you have him.
Yes.
Maybe go send a mid-third for him, you know, because I think that's reasonable right now from what we've seen from our Discord. Okay. I would still wait a couple of times, and you mentioned, hey, where do we go here? I'm looking at the most valuable position. When you're tossing them up, you're saying, where could these dice land? I'm looking at the most valuable position in a Superflex league.
Yep.
And this is where I'm taking Ritter. I'll take Desmond Ritter off the board. He is my 2.7. I'll take him here at the 2.9. Do I think Desmond Ritter is a starting quarterback in the NFL? Probably not. I would say 70% no, 30% chance that he is. But that 30% chance is enough for me in a very weak second round to take a shot on a quarterback there. So I'll take a shot on the quarterback. Great weapons around him.
Great weapons.
You know?
Great weapons.
Well, let's see if he can develop. There's not many other players that I'm like extremely excited to grab here, so I'll take him there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I'm going to piggyback right off that quarterback play. Once again, maybe it's too early, but this is where I have him as well. With all the conversations of him being the starter, you know, Ron Rivera believing in him, and that's Sam Howell. You know, he has to be here, right? I mean, they're going to get rid of Carson Wentz. Taylor Heineke kind of wasn't the guy, and Ron Rivera has publicly said, we're going to ride with Sam Howell going into the 23 season. So if you can get a guy that's going to be a low-end QB2 for you, or is going to play your QB2 position, hopefully he has some sort of decent upside. Maybe he can be that guy. And we saw a decent performance from Sam Howell against a really good Cowboys defense.
Very good.
So, and mind you, they all played.
Yeah,
so
they weren't resting anybody.
They weren't resting.
Yeah, Sam Howell, it was up and down in his first performance, but you saw signs. I think specifically upside on the ground is what's intriguing to me about Sam Howell. If he's able to start the entire year, which right now, Ron Rivera is saying he's a quarterback one.
Yeah.
Who knows? They could still do anything in the draft. I don't think they'll address it in free agency, though. I think that has been clarified. Now, who knows? Anything can happen. But I agree. Sam Howell was my 2.8, and I did have Ritter and Howell back-to-back. So I like this. Take a shot on a quarterback. Howell, it was almost difficult for me not to take Howell over Ritter. I think draft capital was the only reason I didn't.
Right.
But I think Howell, if both of these players reach their true upside, I think Howell has potentially more fantasy value from a rushing perspective. Over 800 rushing yards last year, 11 rushing touchdowns at North Carolina. And you saw the rushing ability, even like in the red zone, in the crucial areas. It's like, oh, it's not working. I'm just going to bully the ball into the end zone with my legs. So, yeah, I like it. All right. Next, I'm going to grab a player who was at my 2.9. I had him right before Sky Moore, but it was very close. And people are going to say, you're disrespecting this player. He just won a Super Bowl. He got 70 yards in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's who it is, man.
It's tough. 7th round draft capital, man.
It is tough.
You guys can say that is such a poor excuse. Historically, it's not. So I'm going to take Isaiah Pacheco here. Some people are going to be like, he should have been much higher, and that's fine if you feel that way. But my goodness, you want to take a look at the landscape of the running back position this year and tell me Kansas City it's just going to be Pacheco next year? I struggle to see that being a scenario. I mean, I've even thought to myself, why wouldn't they add a David Montgomery? You know, like these running backs are gonna be so cheap. There's so many running backs that they could add. So yeah, I'll take Pacheco here, but it was difficult for me to really know exactly where to value him. I do have him right ahead of Sky Moore, but again, I don't think we can take him much higher than that.
Yeah, and I think that was my struggle. He is in this area, and I took Sky Moore, and I do have Sky Moore and somehow higher than him. So he's really my 210. So it kind of falls in that area. Just very difficult to kind of to understand that thought process there with Isaiah Pacheco. Okay, I mean, who's next? You know,
I got one obvious one left on the board, but you're right, it's difficult here.
You know, who's next? You pick your poison. I guess let's say, because I'm assuming this is the last pick, right? So let's say who we both would pick in this scenario if it's not the same person.
Okay.
Right? This is kind of what I'm thinking. I have 3 players, but the person I would go with based off draft capital, and maybe this is a home play, but I'm going Wandale, 2nd round draft pick.
Interesting. Okay.
You know, it's a slot guy. He did tear his ACL, but when he was on the field, you kind of saw the glimpses of how they were going to utilize him. So I like that thought process, like the draft capital. That's where I would take him right here.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Wandale, I've been out on Wandale. You know that.
No,
I've been out on him. Even,
for sure.
Yeah. It's just tough with that size to stay healthy and to have an important role. He's my 3-4. So there's still 4 players, 5 I would take over him.
Yeah.
For me, it would have been Alec Pierce. How do you feel about doing a quick fire? No explanation, no words behind it. Just a quick fire back and forth between this 3rd and 4th round.
Sure, let's do it. Let's do it then.
All right. For me, I'm going to go Alec Pierce here. What are you doing? No explanation, guys. We don't have the time to go through it, but just tell me what you're doing here.
Yeah, Alec Pierce. Okay, give me. I'll take another tight end here. Then I'll do Bellinger.
Oh, okay. I did not expect that to be the next tight end off the board.
No, it's okay.
No explanation. I'm gonna go Romeo Doubs here.
Romeo Doubs, nice. Okay, I'll take John Mechie.
Yep, I love that. That would have been my next pick. John Mechie off the board. Go buy John Mechie. The next tight end I would have drafted is Chig Okonkwo. I would have taken him over Bellinger. A couple of tight ends over Bellinger still, but you're up here at the 3-6.
Oh man, this is tough. Give me Bailey.
Zappy?
Yeah, Bailey's happy. It's not exciting, but we saw the thought process there. 3-6 here. Anyways, no explanation.
Okay. I mean, I don't have him off the board until the 4-8.
For sure, I hear you. But he was like 3-9 for me.
Okay.
3-9, 3-6.
I'll take Isaiah Likely here. You're up.
Who'd you say? Oh, okay, Isaiah Likely. Tyquan Thornton.
Yep, I like Tyquan here. That makes sense. I will take Malik Willis here. Take a shot on the kid. I know it didn't work out, but I'll take a shot on him here.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Give me Zamir White.
Zamir White, okay. Zamir White off the board. Give me Rashid Shaheed off the board.
Gosh.
You're up.
No, that makes sense. Okay. David Bell.
David Bell. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, David
Honestly,
Bell.
David Bell. I mean, before the last year's draft, David Bell was going at the 110, 1-9, even earlier. Look at him now.
All right. I am going to be grabbing Jalen Warren here. In fact, I think he should have gone earlier. But I'll take Jalen Warren here. Showed a lot of signs.
That's the oversight for me. Definitely didn't.
Yeah. He's my 310.
Okay.
Go ahead. You're up.
Cade Otton.
Okay, yeah. Cade Otton off the board.
This is where I have a lot of people here. Continue.
Sure. I think this is where you go Isaiah Spiller. I actually have Spiller in the into the 3rd round. I'll take him here at the 4-3.
Oh, I don't have Spiller. I don't have Spiller at all, to be honest.
I would have drafted him over a lot of these players personally still.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, give me Tristan Ebner. Good opportunity there, potentially.
I can't believe this is heresy from you not taking Jerome Ford, but I'll take him.
I was waiting for him to fall.
No, he's not falling. Not with me here.
Okay, I'm going to do another tight end here as well. I'll do Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, I like that. We're on the same page there. Jake Ferguson's off the board. And here is where I will go Shakira. Oh, baby, when you talk like that off the board.
Okay, give me Valus.
Oh, damn.
25-year-old rookie.
That's a guy I did not have.
25-year-old rookie, man. 26 now, about to be at least.
This is where I would take Zonovan Knight. I'll take him off the board. Has proven to at least be able to be a part of a rotation.
No, for sure.
This is actually where I have Bailey Zappi at the 4-9.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess maybe. Okay, give me Hassan Haskins.
Okay, Haskins. Yep, that makes sense to me. I will go Kyron Williams next, but it's pretty close. Actually, because I know you're not going to take this player, I'm going to go Justin Ross, just to put him on the board, just for fun. Put him on the board.
Okay.
I haven't forgot about you, Justin, even though you're probably worthless. Not as a person, but
yeah, you're just a worthless person. I'm not. All jokes. I'll do Kyle Phillips here.
Okay. Yeah.
I like him, but I think they're going to draft another wide receiver.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That is our 2022 redraft. 4 rounds. We weren't able to explain the 3rd and 4th round. I can tell that would have taken a while anyway.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching. Drop a like to show some support. Subscribe if you like Dynasty content. And comment down below. Who was the steal of the draft? Who was the person who was drafted too high? Let us know. We'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.